So the first thing to do on the master turntable as you're unpacking it is get the 3 isoacoustic feet out of the box and screw them into place. It's worthwhile noting the position of these so that when you do need to level the turntable, you know where they are. So there's one in the middle at the back and one on either side at the front. So yeah, you just wind them up and down to level the turntable. There's a slightly limited range of adjustment, but it should be okay for most situations. The next thing to do is to unscrew the 2 transit bolts. If you ever have to redo this, it actually requires a bit of pressure to squeeze it together. So yeah, just unscrewing them anti-clockwise. You can test to see whether they are free. So yeah, that one's now free. So then you just, what you're doing is you're releasing the 2 layers so that they can be suspended separately. There's still, the isoacoustic feet have got another layer of suspension underneath. There's a few notes here about reminding you to put oil in the bearing, reminding you to plug this lead into the side. Then we plug the standard power supply into the back, and that lets you, this unit can either run purely on battery, or it can run recharge and run on this power pack at the same time. So then it's just back into normal usage. I'll just put the platter on and so we can see what's happening. So again, just looking down it to see where it's got to. So put the belt on. I find it easier to start from the back and move towards the pulley. And then I usually give it a slight rotation to check it's in the right place. It's really important it goes on the lower part, not running on the flywheel up there. Then we've got 3 positions on the switch at the front. So there are 3 positions on this dial, and they're marked with a wavy line, which is mains electricity that way. And that light is going on shining blue, which means it's charging up. And when it is fully charged, it'll change to green. The amount of time you charge it for is the amount of time you get to run it. Then once it's charged up, you change it on to B+ for battery, and you can see that's saying green, that's all ready to go. And then we're back to the normal operation of the turntable where we just flashes 3 times before it gets to speed. Then we pretty much resort to the normal wand installation. What I'm going to talk about in a moment is the master arm mounting and the slight differences that have, and in particular the 12-inch, because it's rather shoehorned onto the master if it's used. I've talked about some of the new changes to the Series B tone arms. The Series B master arm, I'm just going to talk about the vertical tracking angle adjustment here. So the mechanism is very similar to the standard arms. It just has this vernier micrometer that lets you have more finesse in the adjustment of height. I'll do it without with the arm off, really, so you can see it easier. You can in theory do with it on, up to you as to whether that's a good or bad thing. So the same as the standard one, you're loosening the screw here to do the VTA adjustment, but instead of pulling the whole thing up and down, you're really just using this adjustment to wind it up, and then check how you're going with the wand protractor or whatever method you're using. So this bit of video is about setting up, in particular, the 12-inch arm on the Wand Turntable, which is a bit of a special case because it is like literally shoehorned onto the corner of it. So whereas the 9.5-inch or 10-inch, we ship it with the arm parked in the location in the correct location, but with the 12-inch, because you can see it's sticking out, we have to ship it in the wrong location and then you have to move it into the right location. The mechanism the Wand Tonearm Series B uses to mount in your turntable, whether it's a wand or something else, is that there's two screws that are accessible down the middle of the mounting when it's packed in its central position, and these locate into a clamp mechanism underneath that obviously you wind these screws up and it pulls up to clamp on whatever thickness of turntable you've got. So 12-inch shown here, we've packed it inside for shipping, but you need to put it in the right location for usage. So what you would do is put one end of the protractor on there, the other end of the spindle on there, and then just do up the screws to clamp it. I've taken the main arm lifter off because it's just easier to see and it's probably easier to get at the screws too. So we just put that back on. Typically it's just above the shoulder in height, and we're trying to get it so that it's the 12-inch arm we typically park somewhere between the switch and the platter. So yeah, we're just locking that in position. For the second arm board, if you want to run a second arm with a mono cartridge or a cheaper cartridge or whatever, same scenario. If it's a wand, you can use our protractor, sit that on the LP spindle, and then this is for a 12-inch arm, so you can see if we swing it out there, that would have aligned a 12-inch arm there. There's generally two positions for most arms, one on the side here or one at the back, although probably on the side you're less likely to clash with the main arm, and then you just tighten this up when it's in the right place. I do have different drillings for a number of different arms in here, like a Rager, and the holes are 25mm 1-inch, which suits many arms.